We're live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, coming up in the next 30 minutes. Latest UN economic report says India will stay world's fastest growing major economy in 2026 despite global slowdown. List tax reforms and monetary policy easing as key factors. Nationwide internet blackout in Iran as protests persist. US President Donald Trump warns severe action if protesters are killed amid unrest. US Senate votes to bar Trump from further military action against Venezuela without approval. President Trump criticizes GOP senators for backing the resolution. NASA astronauts to return from space station early after medical issue. Crew stable, early return not an emergency but due to lingering risk, says NASA. Indian shuttler PV Sindhu and doubles pair of Satwik and Chirag will be in action in the quarter-finals of the Malaysia Open 2026. And on to the details now. Amid signs of a global economic slowdown, India is set to remain the fastest growing major economy in the world in the coming years. According to the latest United Nations report, strong domestic demand and government investment will continue to support India's economic growth. As per the World Economic Situation and Prospects 2026 report released by the UN Department of Economic and Social Affairs, India's economy is projected to grow by 6.6% in 2026 and 6.7% in 2027. The report notes that robust domestic consumption and public investment will largely offset the negative impact of higher tariffs imposed by the United States. It also says that recent tax reforms and monetary policy easing are likely to provide additional support to economic activity in the near term. According to the UN report, India's growth rate will be the highest among the world's major economies. The report estimates that China's economy will grow by 4.6% in 2026, while its growth rate is expected to slow to around 4.5% in 2027. The United States is projected to register a much lower growth rate. The U.S. economy is expected to grow by 2% in 2026, rising slightly to 2.2% in 2027. At the global level, economic growth is also expected to remain subdued. The United Nations projects global growth of around 2.7% in 2026 and 2.9% in 2027. Geopolitical tensions, trade restrictions, and financial stress in several countries continue to weigh on the global economy. The report adds that despite current global challenges, strong domestic demand in large emerging economies like India can play a crucial role in providing stability to regional and global economic growth. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi chaired a roundtable with Indian AI startups, labeling startups and AI entrepreneurs as co-architects of India's future. The Prime Minister reiterated the government's support to strengthen the spirit of Made in India, made for the world. DD India's Tapas Bhattacharya reports for more.
India's artificial intelligence ecosystem is undergoing a rapid transformation, firmly placing the country on the global AI map. As the nation prepares for the upcoming India AI Impact Summit, Prime Minister Narendra Modi chaired a high-level roundtable with Indian AI startups in New Delhi. The interaction brought together 12 promising AI startups selected under the AI for All Global Impact Challenge, reflecting India's expanding capabilities in artificial intelligence. These startups are working across a wide range of advanced technologies, including Indian language foundation models, speech-to-text and text-to-audio solutions, text-to-video platforms, 3D generative AI for e-commerce, personalized content creation, engineering simulations, material research, and healthcare diagnostics. The entrepreneurs lauded the government's strong policy support and its commitment to nurturing the AI ecosystem. In their presentation, they noted that with rapid innovation and large-scale deployment, the global center of AI development is increasingly shifting towards India. Prime Minister Modi highlighted the transformative role of AI in shaping society. He described startups and AI innovators as co-architects of India's future, advocating a unique AI model that is made in India, made for the world. Emphasizing trust as India's core strength, Prime Minister called for ethical, transparent and unbiased AI rooted in data privacy, while urging affordable, inclusive and indigenous solutions that promote regional languages globally. Taposh Bhattacharya's report for DD India.
And External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar met President Emmanuel Macron during his visit to France. The minister conveyed the warm wishes of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and deeply appreciated Macron's perspectives on contemporary global developments and positive sentiments for the strategic partnership. Earlier in the day, AM Jaishankar also addressed the Ambassadors' Conference of France and underlined contemporary global shifts driven by factors like trade, finance, technology, energy, resources and connectivity. Changes in mindset have been the crucial factor, as well as the significance of India-France partnership in promoting multipolarity and strategic autonomy. Well, Pravasi Bharatiya Divas serves as a bridge between India and Indians settled across the world. Celebrated once in every 2 years on January 9th, the day is not only linked to Mahatma Gandhi's return to India, but also honors the contribution of the Indian diaspora to the nation's development. DD India's Akhilesh Suman brings us more on this.
Pravasi Bharatiya Divas, celebrated once in every 2 years on January 9, serves as an important bridge between India and Indian diaspora settled across the world. The date holds special historical significance as Mahatma Gandhi returned to India on January 9, 1915 from South Africa, marking a new direction in India's freedom struggle. The observance of Pravasi Bharatiya Divas began on January 9, 2003 under the government of the then Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee. The main objective of this initiative is to connect the Indian diaspora with India's development and to benefit from their global experiences and expertise.
This was very important and pioneering initiatives by Atal Bihari Vajpayee government when we have started attracting the Indian settlers or migrants in different parts of the world. The basic objective was to attract trade, aid and investment and where the diaspora community can play a critical and important role.
The Pravasi Bharatiya Divas is not merely a ceremonial event, but a strategic platform through which India engages with its citizens living abroad. It not only promotes Indian culture globally, but also acknowledges the vital contribution of the diaspora in shaping India as an emerging global power. In the initial years, the event was held annually. However, in 2015, the format was revised and Pravasi Bharatiya Divas is now celebrated once in every 2 years to make it more effective and meaningful. The Indian diaspora also makes a significant contribution to India's economy. Remittances sent back home support millions of families and villages, while strengthening India's foreign exchange reserves. Overseas Indians also boost India's economy through substantial investments and expertise in sectors such as IT, startups and industry. To strengthen ties with overseas Indians, the Government of India issues Overseas Citizen of India or OCI cards, which allow foreign-based Indians to travel to India without a visa. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, during his foreign visits, regularly interacts with Indian communities settled abroad, discussing India's progress and encouraging them to contribute to the nation's development. Pravasi Bharatiya Divas is a tribute to nearly 40 million Indians living across the world, an acknowledgement of their Indian identity and a recognition of their invaluable contribution to India's growth and progress. Akhilesh Suman's report for DD India.
Well, Northern Andhra has a lot to offer to tourists, and with the upcoming Alluri Sitaram Raju International Airport at Bhogapuram, the state is all set to emerge as a global gateway in the coming months. DD India's Taposh Bhattacharya reports for more.
North Andhra has always had world-class tourism potential. Pristine beaches in Visakhapatnam, the misty hills of Araku, ancient Buddhist heritage, and the rich tribal culture. But limited international connectivity kept the region off the global tourism map. That is set to change with the Alluru Sitarama Raju International Airport at Bhogapuram, or popularly called as the Bhogapuram International Airport. With direct international flights, Visakhapatnam will emerge as a global gateway, making the Visakhapatnam-Araku Shikakulam circuit easily accessible for foreign tourists. Shorter travel time will mean longer stays and higher tourist spending. The impact is already visible. Leading hotel chains like Oberoi and Taj are exploring new properties around the airport, while the whole stretch near the airport is shaping up as a premium hospitality corridor.
Attached to the airport, all sites of the five-star hotels are coming up. The logistics will come down. So for weddings, for conventions, it is very useful. And this is the first airport in the country with a beach resorts. All beach resorts are within 5 km radius. Nowhere in India, beach resorts are next to the airport.
Beyond big investments, local tour operators, artisans, transport providers, and homestays are expected to benefit from the rising footfall. What connectivity does for tourism is simple yet transformative. It brings the world closer. With Bhogapuram Airport opening the gates to global footfall, North Andhra's beaches, hills, and heritage are no longer hidden treasures. They are ready to welcome the world. With camera person Aniket Dubey, this is Tapush Bhattacharya for DD India from Bhogapuram Airport, North Andhra Pradesh.
And still to come in this edition of DD India Live. Venezuela frees political prisoners in first move under new leadership. UN Chief Guterres regrets Trump's move to withdraw US from dozens of international bodies. And Faridabad hosts opening of Special Olympic Bharat National Futsal Championship with 230 players from 20 states.
Welcome to DD India, where a billion voices unite, connecting viewers to the stories that matter. India is not just another news channel. It's the international channel that puts the spotlight on the global south, bringing you stories from the heart of emerging economies, dynamic cultures, and transformative voices. As the international news channel of India's public broadcaster Prasar Bharati, DD India delivers high-quality content from every corner of the globe, focusing on the stories that shape our future. We don't just report news. We connect you to India's voice in the global narrative. From current affairs to culture, from economic growth to sustainable development, and the ever-evolving world order, DD India gives you a comprehensive view of the world around us. Stay connected, stay informed, and embrace the stories that shape our lives. DD India. India's voice to the world.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. And moving on, the U.S. Senate advanced a resolution on Thursday that would bar President Donald Trump from further military action against Venezuela without congressional authorization. The vote on a procedural measure to advance the war powers resolution was 52 to 47, as 5 Republicans also voted with Democrats in favor of moving ahead. One Republican senator did not vote. The voting took place 5 days after Trump ordered a military operation to capture Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro. It was a significant victory for lawmakers who've been arguing that Congress, not the president, should have the power to send troops to war as spelled out in the Constitution. Thursday's vote paved the way for Senate debate and a vote on final passage in the Senate next week. Well, Trump condemned the Republicans who voted for the resolution, saying in a post on X that the party should be ashamed of the senators that just voted with the Democrats in attempting to take away our powers to fight and defend the United States of America. He added this vote greatly hampers American self-defense and national security, impeding the president's authority as commander-in-chief. And Venezuela on Thursday began releasing a large number of political prisoners, including several foreigners. The releases are the first since Maduro's former deputy Delcy Rodriguez took over with the backing of President Donald Trump. Renowned Spanish Venezuelan activist Rocio San Miguel, imprisoned since February 2024 over a purported plot to assassinate Maduro, was among the 5 Spanish citizens freed. The White House credited Trump with securing the prisoners' freedom. Well, Venezuela's opposition leader, Maria Corina Machado, hailed the release of political prisoners there on Thursday, saying it showed that injustice would not prevail in the country. Well, also, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres regrets the announcement by President Donald Trump that the United States will withdraw from multiple international organizations. Guterres spokesperson Stephen Dujarric said in a statement a large number of the 31 UN entities on the U.S. list are funded by the regular UN budget, adding that the UN has not received any formal notification from the Trump administration. The UN reaction came after the U.S. President Donald Trump on Wednesday said that the United States would withdraw from dozens of international and UN entities, including a key climate treaty and a UN body that promotes gender equality and women empowerment, because they operate contrary to U.S. national interest.
The Secretary General regrets the announcement by the White House regarding the United States' decision to withdraw from a number of United Nations entities. As we have consistently said and underscored, assess contributions to the United Nations regular budget and the peacekeeping budget as approved by the General Assembly are legal obligations under the United Nations Charter for every member state, including the United States.
Meanwhile, United Nations Climate Chief Simon Stale said the United States' decision to withdraw from the UN's key climate treaty is a colossal own goal that will harm the U.S. economy, jobs and living standards. And tensions between Minnesota and federal officials deepened on Thursday over a U.S. immigration agent's fatal shooting of a 37-year-old woman in Minneapolis. Trump and his allies have defended the shooting as an act of self-defense, while Minnesota officials have denounced it as an act of unrestrained violence. U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance said that President Trump and himself stood with ICE and claimed that the slain woman was linked to a left-wing network targeting ICE officers.
The president stands with ICE. I stand with ICE. We stand with all of our law enforcement officers. She was trying to ram this guy with her car. He shot back. He defended himself. He's already been seriously wounded in law enforcement operations before, and everybody who's been repeating the lie that this is some innocent woman who was out for a drive in Minneapolis when a law enforcement officer shot at her, you should be ashamed of yourselves.
The incident drew condemnation from local officials and sparked widespread protest in the state and beyond. Federal immigration officers used pepper ball guns and tear gas to subdue protesters during noisy anti-ICE demonstrations in Minneapolis. Faith leaders and community members gathered in front of the federal building in Los Angeles to denounce the shooting. Demonstrators called for accountability as investigations continue into the agent's use of force. Minneapolis residents also held a vigil and offered prayers for Rennie Nicole Good. Meanwhile, state and federal officials gave conflicting accounts of the shooting. Well, the 37-year-old, a poet and a mother, 3 children was shot by an immigration and custom enforcement officer while she was behind the wheel of her car. Born in Colorado, Good moved to Minnesota last year and lived in the Twin Cities with her partner. After spending most of her life in Colorado, Good briefly moved to Kansas to live with her parents for a time after her husband, a military veteran, died. Her children were from her first 2 marriages, and at the time of her death, she was married to a woman who she lived with in Minneapolis, where they were raising her youngest child, a 6-year-old boy. Good was a published poet who was awarded the Academy of American Poets 2020 Poetry Prize while at her university. In a biography for the award, she was described as loving movie marathons and making messy art with a daughter and 2 sons. Meanwhile, in another shooting incident, U.S. federal agents shot 2 people in Portland on Thursday afternoon. The patients was transported to the hospital. Their conditions are unknown. As per the reports, the agents involved in the shooting were U.S. Custom and Border Protection agents and that the FBI was leading the probe. And some updates from West Asia situation now. A nationwide internet blackout was reported in Iran on Thursday as protests over economic hardships continued around the country. The movement, which originated with a shutdown on the Tehran Bazaar on December 28th after the real currency plunged to record lows, has spread nationwide and is now being marked by large-scale demonstrations, including in the capital. The current protest, the biggest wave of dissent in 3 years, began last month in Tehran's Grand Bazaar, with shopkeepers condemning the real currency's free fall. Local media and official statements have reported at least 21 people, including security forces, have died since the unrest began in late December. U.S. President Donald Trump, meanwhile, warned on Thursday to take severe action against Iran if its authorities start killing people, warning Washington would hit them very hard. And 4 astronauts will return from the International Space Station more than a month ahead of schedule after an unnamed crew member experienced a medical issue. NASA has not provided details about the nature of the problem, citing privacy concerns. The agency typically does not discuss the specifics of health matters related to astronauts. The 4 astronauts on NASA SpaceX Crew 11, U.S. members Mike Finke and Zena Cardman, along with Japan's Kimia Yui and Russia's Oleg Platonov, would return within the coming days to one of the routine splashdown sites. The 4 astronauts set to return have been on their mission since August 1st. Such journeys generally last approximately 6 months, and this crew was already due to return in the coming weeks. Continuously inhabited since 2000, the ISS functions as a test bed for research that supports deeper space exploration, including eventual mission to Mars. And India's 2-time Olympic medalist PV Sindhu will be in quarter-final action today against third seed Akane Yamaguchi of Japan in Kuala Lumpur in the Malaysia Open. PV Sindhu outplayed 8th seed Tomoka Miyazaki of Japan in the second-round match on Thursday. The former world champion dominated the opening game 21-8 and maintained the momentum to seal the match at 21-13 in the second game. In men's doubles, third seed Chirag Shetty and Satvik Sairaj Rankareddy will take on 6th seed double pair of Fikri and Alfian of Indonesia on Friday. The top Indian double pair got better of Junaidi Arif and Roy King Yap on Thursday, securing a 21-18, 21-11 win in 39 minutes, thus extending their head-to-head record against the Malaysian pair to 4-0. Well, Faridabad hosted the opening ceremony of the Special Olympic Bharat National Futsal Championships on Thursday, celebrating inclusion and supporting spirit. Haryana Minister Vipul Goyal attended the ceremony as the chief guest and declared the championships open. Special Olympic Bharat President Dr. Malika Nadda also graced the event. A total of 230 players from 20 states are competing in the championship. Here's more.
Faridabad witnessed a celebration of inclusion, ability and sporting spirit on Thursday with the opening ceremony of the Special Olympics Bharat National Futsal Championships at the Manav Rachna Educational Institution. The event brought together athletes with intellectual disabilities from across the country. The ceremony was graced by Vipul Goyal, Minister of Revenue and Disaster Management, urban local bodies and civil aviation, Government of Haryana. He attended as chief guest and formally declared the championships open.
नई ऊंचाइयां छूने का काम कर रहा है, चाहे देश के अंदर टूर्नामेंट हो चाहे इंटरनेशनल टूर्नामेंट हो. जितने पार्टिसिपेंट्स हैं उससे ज़्यादा मेडल भारत ले रहा है और बच्चों को एक मुख्य धारा में लाने का काम, उनको इंक्लूजन के साथ साथ इक्वलिटी का जो संदेश इस गेम के थ्रू जा रहा है, मैं समझता हूँ एक बहुत ही अच्छा इनिशिएटिव.
Also present on the occasion were Dr. Malika Nadda, President Special Olympics Bharat, Upasana Arora, President Special Olympics Delhi, and Mukesh Shukla, President Special Olympics Uttar Pradesh, and Amit Bhalla, Vice President of Manav Rachna Education Institutions. Their presence highlighted the collective commitment towards empowering athletes through sport.
Special Olympics believes in participation, not in competition. So we want more and more such children to participate in sports. So we have done well in all the sports activities previously, and we are sure that our athletes will do wonders and bring laurels for the country.
But it is a very good opportunity for all these athletes that they have come here. So for international level, we have organized this national level futsal, and I think after some time you will see futsal will be again a very, very popular game among all our games, like we are doing football and all.
More than 250 players from 20 states are taking part in the championships. This national championship also serves as a build-up event for the 2027 Special Olympics World Summer Games, scheduled to be held in Santiago, Chile. Each match played here is a step towards global representation and excellence. Narayan Singh's report for DD India.
All right, that's all for this edition of DD India Live. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Lipakshi Purana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.